Alrighty, daily trading recap for Monday, the 8th of November, 2021. Another hard down day in the red. I seem to say that quite often, but just continuing learning lessons. And for me today, especially too, I think I was stepping out a little bit more as to what I want to focus on hard in regards to the short setups that I want to be slapping hard going forward into the near-term future, at least at what the market's showing as of right now, I feel. We'll get into the specific trades and the breakdown of it, but yeah, I think that's just what I was continuing to just trick myself into believing, that if I don't see that A plus setup or what I'm looking for in the pre-market or in the time frame that I want to be trading, then I just kind of ease myself or see other charts around the horn and think, oh, well, this looks like a nice trade. I could take this one, and just continue to take the stupid little tiny paper cuts and just the stupid losses that take my attention away from the data I should be collecting, the trades I should be focusing on. But it's all part of the process. So housekeeping works. Just get in before we get going on the trades. Let's look at SPY. It's 0.09% in the green still, but a little down day. Intraday, at least, still right around all-time highs. Absolutely nuts. Still, once again, dollar volume on the day. We are 2 minutes after the close here. NASDAQ, $246 billion volume, $232 billion volume out of the NYSE. Again, seeing some more dollar volume come into the NASDAQ as compared to the NYSE, which is pretty nice to see. Have not seen that in a long time, since I started really tracking that hard in the summer months. And OTC's $2.8 billion volume on the day. EV movers moving. Tesla had a little bit of a sell-off because Elon was saying he's selling 10% of his shares. So Tesla had a little bit of a down, but everything else moving nicely. LCID, BLNK was another one that was moving nicely. EVGO, I think, was another one. Yeah, lots of other news catalyst, electric vehicle, battery movers on the day. That sector might start to come around, especially if we start to see Tesla going more parabolic again. We could have a nice little sector momentum opportunity there. Very interesting to see. Monaco had an awesome live stream today too. Got to watch him trading ILUS and RGBP, and he was pretty much watching the same tickers that I was, which was kind of great to see, or just at least a little affirmation to say, okay, at least I'm focusing with someone who I comparably want to get in the same realm as, or the mindset of a trader that I enjoy following his trades and attributes of. Yeah, definitely love to see that. At least I'm in the right ballpark of what I should be looking at. That's all I wanted to do for the intro. Let's get into, we'll just talk about PPSI first, just because I want to. Absolutely bollocks. Good to see, though. We're seeing 217%, I show here at the close. Dollar volume I've got on scans, $2.1 billion volume, over 1 million trades. Absolutely awesome. Jack number 2 even mentioned it in the morning session, that, or even pre-market, that he could see this one very easily getting to 300 million volume, and we are at 294 million volume as of right now, that's pretty scary to see how accurate he was with that volume prediction on this one, for how well it was holding for very cheap borrow fees, which I was surprised at for how low of a float this one, like 4 million floater. Yeah, exactly, 4 million floater. Sketchy company, very high percentage move, lots of volume. So all of those factors coming in his words of saying, those type of factors add up to just some absolute craziness, and especially emotional trading within the first half hour of market open. So I don't think he even touched it for that first half hour, either long or short. And that's the kind of methodology that I want to start using heavily on all these, because of how many times I've just screwed myself over on the long side, especially trying to chase these little morning spikers or believe I'm buying green or buying momentum. I just have not found success with that, and I got to make a change sooner or later on these ones. But was actually kind of thinking for this afternoon short fade that I want to start tracking more. I'm doing a lot more data collection on the actual morning dump setup in pre-market, just as another little ideologically or perspective on how these charts move. But looking at just even taking pre-market itself here as a whole different animal, how does volume itself on a 1 minute scale correlate with the trend changes in all of these? So we can see, just even on this one, it's never going to be a perfect science. It's never going to be like, oh, once you get the highest volume candle bar on the day, that's when you know the trend has changed. Because that's the thesis, that's my hypothesis going with this little data collection node of, where are these areas of huge volume collection? Or is it potentially a sign of watching the time and sales on a specific peak of these areas? Is it some indicator of very weird sized prints? Is it huge block prints that come out at these times that tell you and indicate to you that, okay, hey, here the top's in? Is it this area of, to say, we get huge little 1 minute volume candles, and that can tell you, okay, it's getting a little bit exhausted here. This could be an area where it could potentially turn over, not necessarily that it has to be this point or that it's going to be this point, but this could be a good area to keep, maybe get a starter position. I want to get away from that starter position feely type too, especially as I'm still under PDT trading and to the long side trading with a cash account. But just, taking every single factor I can into to say, what more screen time should I be focusing on? Is it watching that intraday time and sale, that intra-minute time and sales? Is it just looking at these charts at the end of the day, saying, hey, where's the volume here? Like, because I have it hovering my mouse over here, that would be 8:59 now with daylight savings, Eastern Standard Time. That's right. Yeah, 8:59. Yeah, that's okay, well, it's obvious here. It tried to break out to a new high of day, but then it had a huge stuff on huge volume. So longs may have gotten stuffed out there. This kind of shoulda, coulda, woulda been the trend reversal for trying to go short on what was already a very high percentage move, going from 3. Yeah, we're already up to around 100% move there at this point before market open. So I was just mentally kind of in that situation that this one for me wasn't a huge A+, try to short setup. That's why I didn't even attempt to try and get short this one or even take a stab at it, because it just, the slow grind up for me is a total turn off, and I just don't want to be a part of it. It has also had decent news, and again, like all the other factors I mentioned that Jack number 2 pointed out for why these things get so emotional and crazy is big percentage move to the upside that everybody sees on their scanners, very nice liquidity and volume coming in on this one, and cheap borrow fees with the low floaterness of it. So history on the daily as well too shows a little bit of some runningness. If we look on a longer term scale, this is a 10-year. So going back to like 2017, we got a day here. You call it what you want, not insane volume on those days, but in more recent here, these last 2 years, going back to 2020, had a nice little 2-day, 3-day run here, pulls back. Another nice little multi-day run, start of 2021, but again, pulls back. So has potential there for legs. And I think I traded this one, tried to go an overnight in January, but stupid little trade. Anyway, also wanted to mention that I got to watch Warrior Trading, Ross, trade this one as a short for his little, or as a long for his little scalpy strategy. That was awesome commentary on his part. So I recommend to myself, as I'm watching this back, to pull up that video from today, the 8th of November, for his great methodology of, he's also evaluating where he would be thinking if he was short this one of, okay, now I know I'd be stuck as a short here or all the shorts. Great recap from his in the pre-market for how he was trading it. I'm trying to get for a new breakout play on that one for his little scalpy style of trading that he does. A great opportunity. Chris traded an awesome trade here in the morning, kind of for a little dip and rip as it was holding around VWAP here, coming back to the upside, gets to hold through an awesome halt to the upside and sell easily into just under that $7 area. Awesome little trade there. But again, too, of just how sketchy these are, having to hold through a halt, having to deal with the emotion of, okay, could this thing just pretend once again like it's going to have a nice little breakout and then just rug pull, stomp you out faster than you can say, oh no, like so many of these have done before. I certainly wasn't going to try to trade along because I think I was already looking at other tickers as well, but great reference chart for me on the day. Kind of crazy after hours here. This one's certainly going to be on the watch for the next few days. Looking for potential technical level holds, 3rd day potential play. Had a nice run into the close here. We'll see what it wants to do after hours. Didn't sell off completely hard, so could be a good sign that any long bag holders are still profitable and shorts could still be in their emotions or not comfortable, to say the least, in this style of trade. So great ticker with that one, and no trade on it for me on the day. I'll get into the trades I did have. METX, again, just kind of a stupid little trade. $72 size, which, why am I taking that type of size trade anyway? What is even the point? This is that sketchy Chinese company, right? Bigger float, 76 million float. They're based in China. It's just the education company. This one's been holding up for a while. And actually, as I looked up, or I saw on another post from Investors Underground, Nate was saying this one kind of looked familiar to CEI before its big run up. Not that any way, shape, or form he was advocating to get long this one as a potential copy of CEI type of trade, but kind of getting that same feeling, same vibe from it, even though it is a bit of a higher float. And pre-market was holding well today. No news catalyst or anything crazy that I was doing, but that previous trading day off of last week Friday also had a very nice green gap up here. So just thinking, man, if this one could get kind of crazy. And as I look back in hindsight, why did I waste my energy and my mental capital on this one? What am I thinking it's going to do? Am I looking for that immediate, quick scalpy move? And that's why I was taking a small size. It completely went away from my monthly trade goal, which is to try and be extremely precise with my precision, like with my entries and exits. I'm buying the top here again. Pretty much, I saved myself a few cents risking this little low a day, market hours low a day, and VWAP area there. Did save myself a little bit of a headache there on that slippage and bigger volume candle for there, but again, just very sloppy, very unfocused, precise on what I'm trying to do as a trader. I'm telling you, for where I'm at right now in my trading career, I need to definitely be focused. So this really didn't set me up well for what I want to be doing as a short, because there wasn't any of those nice tickers that were popping up on the scanner besides that PPSI that I felt could add up for a nice afternoon fade style of short trade that I want to be looking for, or even shorting in that pre-market, looking for a morning dump style of trade from there. So then I fall into that stupid trap over and over again that, okay, well, I'll just take a small size. You're not going crazy if you're just taking a small size. It's going to be educational. What am I learning from this? It's becoming a net negative as I'm trading this style of trade, as I'm trying to watch the next ticker of ILUS and all the other, and watching PPSI, and then watching the live stream and all the other things I'm doing. And then I always have to come back to, oh crap, well, I got to cut METX. And so just stupid. For right now, where I am, I just got to keep this mental capital, which is so valuable. I got to keep it focused on exactly what I want to be trading, what I want to be doing. So just stupid little loss on that one. It's super small because it is super small size, but overall net negative beyond just the small. I can't even applaud myself for keeping my position size small because it's just a stupid trade overall. That's it. ILUS, we'll get into the big loser on the day. Man, just a failed kind of breakout on this OTC ticker. This one was heavy watch on Monaco's watch list, or Monaco's live stream that he was trading it live. And as I look back in the chat as well too, I know Huddy was super hard on this one. I think a lot of other guys in the chat as well, looking for a very nice breakout on this key psychological level of that $0.50 area for how well this one's been consolidating, for this kind of cupish area we've been in. Certainly had the time frame to do this, and the volume candle within that 1 minute breakout, absolutely ridiculous. So I had to hop in for how well it was. Looked like it was going to be moving quickly to that point, that 50-cent point from market open, but I did not want to start chasing from there. Pulled back a little bit and get some dojis here, some lack of trading, but then still starts to curl around and hold. And at this point here, I'm still watching, thinking, okay, price is moving closer to the intraday high of day. Is the volume going to be there? Is that buying power going to be there? And then we see some huge slaps of that ask. So I was able to get initial size that I wanted to be trading this one was 1,000 shares to get a $500 position size. So I tried to get in as we're spiking, push, buy the ask. Just sitting there failing to get filled, cancel it, go to put in another order that's a little bit higher by the ask. Still waiting to get filled. Then I end up getting filled both of them because the first one failed to cancel. So I'm going, oh shoot, okay, well, I'm not completely uncomfortable with that position size. I certainly think this one, the probability of the trade could happen from here, and especially with how nicely we were moving with just after that breakout, we were holding okay. It did pull back pretty hard immediately after. But then at that point, too, still debating of, wow, do I want to pay the extra OTC fee to scale back down to 1,000 share size? Oh, that's just so stupid. It's an unfortunate set of circumstances that order didn't cancel, just how janky the OTC system is and stuff. But yeah, I always had to remind myself with this one too of, okay, now that we are in a bit of a bigger position size, it still is the same trade. Don't let the emotions of, oh, well, now my losses are going to be double of just, no, it's still the same trade. And still reminding myself that this price action isn't ludicrously volatile, that every downtick is 1%. I had plenty of room. Of course, I don't want to be losing 10% on my losers, but to think that, okay, we're trading 50 here, the 10% mark is down at 45, you got a huge range to think you're losing $100 for what my position size was. So that did give me a little bit of a comfort to say, okay, just don't look at it as if you're trading crazy size. It's not like you tried to trade a bigger size on this one than you initially wanted to with what you thought the probability was on this one, or that, especially too, carrying over from the fact that this isn't a huge one that you've been watching for a while, because like all of those other traders in the chat and the Matt Monacos and the Huddies as well too, Huddy's average on this one was like 43, I think he said it was. And I know Monaco too definitely had a far better average on this one than I did for me trying to chase the breakout. So that in mind, I always have to keep in reference to of they are trading this one from a entirely different perspective than I am of just trying to buy the breakout, sell immediately right after that as we get to potentially 10% from that breakout point. Whereas those guys have the opportunity to be selling where I'm buying. And that's probably where a huge percentage of this volume candle came from, is all of those guys at least taking some amount off for how long this one's been holding around this level for an attempt to break to the upside of this 50 area. So keeping that in mind of, even though we are trading the same thing, even though we're looking for the exact same pattern, they have a far more level of convenience or comfort of cushion between their entry price, their risk level, of of experience in general, just how they've been able to deal with these breakouts. But in the end, failed breakout. I had to stop in. I knew it was going to be tough that we potentially get a further little dip. If it started to fall below this little dip bottom here around 472, because as Matt Monaco mentioned, he was risking that 467 area, maybe that red to green line. Yeah, I knew it was just one technical level after another as we're coming from this low here, the real low day here, that red to green line. It was just going to be kind of a domino effect that creates those harder panics that start a lot of slippage trying to get out of these. So I just kind of gave it a little bit tighter of a leash than I maybe could have or should have, especially seeing how it was just still clinging. It wasn't dying off into the afternoon session here, and it actually did have a nice little pop above VWAP going into the power hour move here, but just failed after that, dying now into the close. So tough little breakout on that one. Great experience on this one, and great experience too now in the situation where I do get in this one in the future of, okay, now I have double the position size that I was initially willing to take. How are you going to deal with it? How are you going to factor in? Are you going to take that? And it's tough too, because now I'm factoring in the OTC's fees as a reason for me not just sizing back down to 1,000 share position size. Whereas, like, you know, in the future of the OTC fee is just so non-existent and minimal that it doesn't even matter. So that, you know, I potentially would have just, if we're seeing a pullback here, if I'm just not comfortable with the price action, then I could have fixed that mistake when it was the opportune time to do that. Versus now of kind of handcuff my hands here of, do I sell? Do I fix this mistake? Do I correct it just to save my mental capacity for the trade, or to save? Do I think I'm saving more P&L in the end by cutting this point here? So all those different factors, but yeah, great example of trying to chase too many rabbits, of course, can get you in quite some trouble. So just, I wasn't watching this one hard. I mentioned it last week Friday on the watch list for, hey, it was looking pretty nice, and that's what gets me into that little bit of FOMO, or if I see other people trading it, or I see price action potentially coming up to what I was kind of wishy-washy thinking I was seeing, having it on a watch list. But it wasn't a hard focus. It was just kind of in the back of the mind. And, but I'm not at that point as a trader yet to think that I can just get by keeping a few of these on the back burner, and as soon as they get to a specific price point, then thinking, oh, okay, well, here's the trade's going to happen from there too. I need to do far more data collection and work far harder on the individual stock before it becomes easier to distinguish the signs and reasons for why these trades work out the way they do. These trades for me require far more attention than the level of attention that I currently give to them now, just kind of trying to kind of focus on lots of things at once versus devoting the attention that they deserve to these one specific trades. So great learning lessons on the day. But yeah, I think for my monthly goal, I would certainly rate this day as a C at best, C rating. Probably load myself in the D area, whereas I'm continuing to just top tick, near top tick, and near bottom tick, my entries and exits. I got to get away from that and learn from my errors that I'm making in that regard. So watch this right now, just kind of preliminary, nothing really. I'll do a lot more scans here later tonight, but I really liked as a, this is a Bitcoin sector play, I believe, from a while ago. Bitcoin's moving really nicely. Mara and Riot are just moving incredibly today. Or this one's Bitcoin mining. Nice little breakout here on the daily. We've got some technical levels here around $10. Not huge volume that was necessary to push this one today, which could be a good sign to see that if it does actually start to get the volume that was met on these specific days, that we could actually see more price action start to come out of this one. But potentially for a longer swing hold for if Bitcoin wants to break out to new all-time highs. As of right now, we're still hovering right around 66K, just under that previous all-time high. That was a few months ago. Let's see where we're at. 66.1 I show here. Face ID. 66.3. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think we just barely tapped under all-time highs. So could have some nice few next days here if it does want to follow succinctly with Bitcoin price action as well. That could be a nice one. And Mara Riot just in their own leagues. But also NEGG, very nice day today. Newegg, that's where I got part of this PC from. I remember this one from July, this crazy summer months here. Huge downside on this one. A huge backside after that crazy 5-day move. Huge exhaustive volume candle day on that one. That was crazy to see. So could have some more legs in it. Maybe look for a third day surge style of play that had the opportunity here on that run back in July. So see if it has maybe a little sell-off day or just kind of a rest day tomorrow, and then maybe get some more action going into, that'd be Wednesday. And then also, of course, we got to watch PPSI for the same type of thing that I mentioned during that little chart breakdown. Could have just death for the rest of the action here. Just this could have been a one and done type of chart day. But I also see here earnings. Oh, that's in a week. So if it wants to hold up that long, that could be interesting as well, or could mess up a lot of different things playing the earnings that way. That is all I had. Nice and not really that short, but just keeping it succinct and brief and sticking to trying to get my trading to follow along with what I want to do with these videos and stick to short, succinct charts that I was focused on. I can go through my scans and just trying to include everything and think, I can point this out in the video here. I can do these things, but no, just focus on the weight and the breadth of what's there in front of you and continue to hammer down on that. And there's plenty of time to do the little tiny stuff on the other side, but just put the effort in for what you're seeing right there in front of you right now, which is the mentality I definitely need to start keeping going forward in the future with my specific trades themselves. And that can come at a cost sometimes of not trading at all during the day too. And that's certainly better than taking these stupid losses over and over again. I got to learn at some point. I sincerely thank you guys for watching. We will catch you guys on the next one.